Thank you very much. Excellencies, our honorable state ministers from our neighboring countries, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come here for our Digital World 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, I will, unfortunately, even being a technical person, I'm not sure which one they want me to use here. Okay, so just, all right, there we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. The topic of Digital World and our conference today is the fourth industrial revolution. Many of you are probably wondering what that is. It's a concept that is relatively new to me as well. But I think you missed a slide here. I see. So, Industry 4.0, what do we mean by that? Traditionally, we have heard of the concept of the fourth revolution, the fourth human revolution. The three previous human revolutions that we consider are the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, and what we are in, what I consider today, the knowledge revolution. BCG, being the consulting group, they have broken down the industrial revolution into 4 parts as well. But these are certain, we're splitting hairs here, but regardless, we are now in the midst of a human revolution. And that revolution is that of a knowledge revolution. To begin with, how does this knowledge revolution impact us? I would like to present to you a vision of the Bangladesh of tomorrow. You have all seen the transformation that digital Bangladesh has brought about. But we are still in the midst, we're just at the very beginning of this transformation, at the very beginning of this revolution. We have been digitizing government services. We have been building digital infrastructure, wiring Bangladesh. Today in Bangladesh, if you want to buy a cell phone, the only identity you need is your fingerprint. You do not need any other verification. This is where the future is headed. What does the Bangladesh of tomorrow look like? Tomorrow, your entire life will be at your fingertips, in your hand, in your smartphone. You will be able to avail of all government and indeed most public services right through your smartphone. You will no longer have to go to a government office to do that. Our goal is that 80% of all government services should be available at your fingertips, in your hand. Self-driving cars. I'm sure you are all aware of, and for our foreign guests, I'm sure you have experienced the traffic of Dhaka city. Imagine if all of these cars were driving themselves. There would be no more traffic jams. The cars would coordinate amongst each other. They would all travel at 40 kilometers an hour. There would be no need for stop signs or stop lights at all because the cars would coordinate amongst themselves. Intelligent robots performing many of the functions. Many of you had the opportunity to meet Sophia yesterday. And I believe today, now in Bangladesh, we also have restaurants that is served by robots, where your orders are taken and service is provided by robots. This is the future. This already exists in Bangladesh. Various biomedical technical advances that we are working on, neural enhancements. Eventually, your smartphone could connect directly to your central nervous system to provide certain services directly. Genetic editing to eliminate certain diseases. These are all happening in Bangladesh. These are all things we are working on in Bangladesh today. So, coming back to why Industry 4.0. Industry 1.0 was mechanized production, essentially applying technology to agriculture. Industry 2.0 was harnessing the power of electricity, especially in the industrial sector. Industry 3.0 was advanced robotics, using the use of robotics in industry, predominantly where you have large factories where robots perform a lot of the functions. You can see some of that happening in our garments industry today. Many of the operations are automated by robots. And the next revolution is Industry 4.0, where cyber systems are connected, interconnected with the robotic systems, with the management systems, with the human interface, to really take production levels to a whole another level. Rather than just simple robotics and human management, the two will fuse and be merged together to where changes and adaptations will happen in real time. Small batches will be possible. And this is happening today. This is not something that is very far down the line. We are starting to see the beginning. This fusing of cyber power, real-time analysis, real-time adjustments is really bringing in a lot of efficiencies. So for example, whereas today you have to change the code, reprogram your robots to increase your efficiency, tomorrow you are going to have management really interfacing directly, perhaps biological networks, where the management team is directly connected to the factory systems, to where they can make adjustments, make changes on a need basis, really in real time. Your notes are quite convoluted, by the way. I'm going to rush through this a little bit because I want to leave more time for our panel discussions. The traditional manufacturing paradigm itself is going to change, and I believe this has tremendous impact for the future in terms of production. So for example, Bangladesh today, what do you think of? You think of the garments industry. You think of the efficiencies in the garments industry. What if we could take this to a whole nother level? What if, so for example, the factories could adjust their production schedules on a real-time basis with end-user demand? What if the supply chain could be modified on a real-time basis? What if designs of the finished products could be altered? So instead of designing for one buying company, a big company who's going to place an order for 1 million products, what if a company could connect directly to end users on the internet and then design small custom batches, so that, for example, if a shirt were to be made, that shirt could be made tailored for an individual buyer on the internet in real time. That is the interface we are talking about, and that is possible. That is something we are talking about and is possible today. And this is where the future lies, where bypassing a lot of these middlemen, bypassing a lot of these middle systems, the factories could become, in a sense, much more democratic, connected directly to the end user, connected directly to the buyer, and really provide a customized service. This is possible, not just in the garments industry, but as we move forward, because our ambition here in Bangladesh is to move well beyond the garments industry. In fact, we are focusing on many other manufacturing industries, but not just manufacturing, providing service. My goal with Digital Bangladesh is to provide digital services not just to the citizens of Bangladesh, but to the citizens of the world, that Bangladesh becomes a digital hub, a digital industrial hub in the world. So I envision someday where end users sitting in Europe or America, they need some internet service, they need some digital service. and they can go online on their smartphones and request it, and it will be that service will be provided by a freelancer sitting in some small town here in Bangladesh, online, immediately, in real time. That perhaps he needs something translated, perhaps he needs an online search performed, he needs a website developed, he needs some customized software, some customized solution for himself, and it is provided in real time by someone sitting in Bangladesh. That is the future of digital Bangladesh. And that is happening. That transformation is already happening. It is happening today. A small company in the US or Brazil needs some optical character recognition, some text converted, and it cannot be converted, read by computers, and he needs it done manually. It can be done online by a company sitting here in Bangladesh in real time. This is the future of digital Bangladesh. Robotics. We have already started on robotics in Bangladesh. Machine learning. So a lot of that back-end work has to be done in real time by programmers. And this can be done right here over the internet from, say, Europe to Bangladesh. These are changes that are happening already. We're talking about smart factories, but I want to take that to a whole different level. We can really develop smart industries which no longer have a boundary. It is no longer a factory floor, but the industry itself exists online. The company exists online. The whole service, and from the end user to the provider back here, exists solely in cyberspace. That, I believe, is Industry 4.0. Of course, many of us, especially those working on the factory floors, are worried about their own jobs. And this is a discussion I was having with our excellencies, our distinguished guests. What do we do about this labor force? I believe that it does not have to impact the labor force. In fact, I believe that one of the mistakes that have been made in the West, which we are now in a position not to make, we can learn from our friends who have been through some of this revolution a little bit, train our future generations to be comfortable with technology. They no longer need to aspire to working in a garment factory or some other factory. They can aspire to providing service online on their smartphones in cyberspace. They will be familiar with mobile phones. They will be familiar with robotics. They will be familiar with artificial intelligence. They no longer need to fear this, because at the end of the day, you can never take the human element out. There has to be someone to program and manage those robots. There has to be someone to physically maintain the server data center infrastructure. There is no way to automate that completely. You will never be able to remove the human element. And so the future is the engineers, the programmers, the network administrators. Those jobs will never go away. And those are the jobs that we can train our future youth to be familiar in, so that instead of sewing garments, they can maintain and program the robots that manufacture those garments, that manufacture, say, cars, electronics, cell phones. So instead of doing the assembly themselves, they will build and maintain the robots and servers and computers that build the end user products. So this is where I believe the future is, and this is where we need, in our part of the world, if we are to take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution, really focus our emphasis on IT training, and IT training at a very early level. So in Bangladesh, we have made IT training, IT education mandatory starting from grade 6. And we need to take that further to the primary level. Of course, certain advantages of real-time manufacturing are that manufacturing can be what's called reshored closer to the end user, which isn't necessarily a good thing for developing economies. We don't want that. We want things to be outsourced to us. As you all know, our Digital Bangladesh journey started in 2008 when our Awami League government was elected, end of 2008, December of 2008. Digital Bangladesh was part of our Awami League's manifesto. It was our promise to the citizens of Bangladesh. And when we started, there was no digitization here whatsoever. Everything you see today in the digital world in Bangladesh did not exist. There were maybe 3 or 4, half a dozen government services that were slightly digitized, not even fully digitized. Internet connectivity did not exist. You could get broadband connection perhaps in Dhaka and Chittagong, and 1 megabit internet would cost over $1,000 a month. That was the state in Bangladesh. Vision 2021 is that 90% of all services in Bangladesh will be delivered electronically. Out of that, the goal is 80% will be available at your fingertips on your smartphone. 90% of all citizens will be connected to the internet. There will be 2 million employed in the IT sector, and the IT industry exports will be $5 billion. Those are our targets for Digital Bangladesh. And we are well on our way to achieving them. I don't know what percentage of services. I believe at present almost 70 to 80% of government services are digitized. Oh, sorry, 40%. We're a little behind. Okay, we'll get there. What percentage of our citizens are connected to the internet now? I think that's 40% connected to the internet. Sorry, 40% of our citizens are. Right. 50% of our population is online today. And mind you, when we took over in 2008, only 3% of our population was online. So we've gone from 3% to 50% in 8 years. Today, broadband connections are available almost anywhere in Bangladesh, and costs are comparable to most Western countries. They are cheaper than most Western countries. So we've gone from 1,000 megabit internet to where you can get a megabits connection for about $10 or so, almost anywhere in Bangladesh. And one of the goals of IT in Bangladesh is not just to develop the industry, but also to improve the lives of citizens. You can see some of the numbers here, where in 2008 only 1 million internet users. In 2017 we have 80 million plus internet users in Bangladesh. Mobile users in 2008 just 20 million. Today 141 million plus. Social media, barely anybody uses social media in Bangladesh. Today we have more than 27 million people using social media, Facebook, Twitter. E-services, again, 3 or 4 government services were digitized. Today, 200 plus major government services are digitized and available online. Mobile financial services did not exist in Bangladesh in 2008. Today, we have 57 plus million users of mobile financial services. And the goal is to have an all digital cash economy. Poverty, 2008, 40% of our population was below the poverty level. 2016, just 23%. We have halved poverty in a population of 160 million. Literacy stood at 49%. We have increased that to 72%. This has all happened in 8 years, just in 8 years, not even 1 decade. And this is in a population of 160 million. No other country in the world has ever been able to achieve such quick growth in these 2 areas of poverty, education, and literacy. No other country in the history of the world. And how are we preparing for Industry 4.0 in Bangladesh? So in our innovation ecosystem, we have set up incubation centers, IT incubation centers at most of the major universities throughout the country. We have built them at all the high-tech parks that we have built. We are building high-tech parks in every district of Bangladesh, which will house IT industries and innovation center. This is all being done by our ICT ministry. Our government has earmarked $30 million for investing directly in innovation programs. We call it our IDEA program. This is targeted purely for innovation development in Bangladesh. We are building world-class IT infrastructure. We are building robotic labs. We have built Internet of Things labs. We have built cybersecurity labs. We have cybersecurity competitions between various agencies as well as the private sector. We've established our own CERT. We have established the Digital Security Act, which has recently been passed by Cabinet. We are really we have focused on not just IT development for the present, we have focused on IT training, research for the future. That is our goal. We don't just want to take what the West and what has been developed outside and adopt it. The goal is eventually to be able to build our own innovation. And I have seen some of the products that have come out of these IDEA labs, and they have truly been revolutionary. These are ideas that do not exist outside of Bangladesh. They have been developed in Bangladesh, and we can really export these ideas, these innovations, to the world, and that is our goal. I mentioned some of the Digital Security Act. So in order to create this ecosystem, we have also been working on the policies and the laws that digital Bangladesh, that the digital future requires, such as the Digital Security Act. Because unless we can ensure cybersecurity, we will not be able to ensure security of our own digital services, of our own digital development. And finally, what I consider the most important aspect, we are focusing on the IT workforce. Again, my goal is that all future citizens of Bangladesh will be IT ready, will be ready for the IT industry for Industry 4.0. Today, every youth in Bangladesh who is enrolled in grade 6 and above is familiar with the digital world, is familiar with IT. When they become adults and someone hands them a smartphone or an internet browser and says, hey, do this, they will be very familiar with it because we are training them from today. And this is not just in the cities, this is every youth in every village in this country. We are training them, we are preparing them. Along with that, we have various training programs, that vocational training, end user training that we are undertaking from our IT ministry itself. I think the total numbers run into 30,000 or so that we are training per year in various different skills to enable them to participate in the IT industry. And our future goal is that IT education will be made mandatory, not just at grade 6, but at the primary level. So that along with learning to read and write, our children in Bangladesh will learn how to use a computer, how to use a smartphone, how to program, how to use the internet, how to take advantage of it, and therefore they will become the innovators of tomorrow. That is the goal. With that, we have many strong industry players that have really developed in our IT industry here. Some of the names are up here. They're all part of our two big IT industry associations, BASIS, the Association of Software Companies, and BACO, the Association of Call Center Operators. Between these two, they're employing hundreds of thousands today already in our IT industry in Bangladesh, and the goal is within the next 4 years to take that to 2 million employed between these two industry associations. Finally, we want to continue our momentum. We want to take Bangladesh to the next level, take our IT industry to the next level, take our digitization to the next level, and not just the IT industry. IT will eventually become a pervasive part of all industries, the garments industry, the shipbuilding industry, the food processing industry, the agro industry, the energy sector. IT will become the basic infrastructure for all of these industries and other industries that we have, other services that we haven't even thought of yet, which don't exist today, and I cannot even think of. These are new services that will develop, that the future generation of Bangladesh, the generation that we are training today, when they grow up and become innovators, that they will develop these future industries, which we cannot even imagine today. Perhaps industries based in providing artificial intelligence services, in providing communications technologies to self-driving cars. These may be developed here, can be developed here, and I believe they will be developed here in Bangladesh. And with that, BCG would like me to end with a quote from Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum. As all these trends happen, the winners will be those who are able to participate fully in innovation-driven ecosystems by providing new ideas, business models, products, and services, rather than those who can only offer low-skilled labor or ordinary capital. We don't want to focus just on providing low-cost labor to the world. Bangladesh, the future of Bangladesh should be to provide innovative, cutting-edge services to the world which are not available anywhere else. To provide an IT industry that can provide the back-end services to the world which are not available anywhere. I believe that is the future of Bangladesh, and we are well on our way to getting there. Thank you again. I would like to end my presentation here so that we can leave more time for panel discussion. Thank you very much. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangladesh.